this special occasion. So today we are celebrating 130 years of chiropractic care. It's a remarkable journey that started back in 1895. So as we explore the theme Rewired for Health, we will delve into how removing interference from the nervous system can unlock the body's inherent ability to heal. This concept is at the heart of chiropractic care, and it's so fascinating to see how a small adjustment can lead to significant changes in our well-being. I'm Dr. Marianne Freeman, and I'm thrilled to share this journey with you today. So before we start, allow me to introduce myself. If you have not seen me in the practice, I'm Dr. Marianne, and I am a graduate from the Australian Chiropractic College in 2024. Originally from Singapore, I'm back home now after studying in Barcelona and Adelaide for the last 6 years. So my journey started 10 years ago with Dr. Jessie and Dr. Brian here in Life Chiropractic Center. And I have come to what feels like a full circle now. So basically, I look to the body with a deep respect to the intrinsic or innate intelligence of the body. And while pain relief is one of the wonderful benefits of chiropractic care, its true purpose is to activate the brain, restore harmony to the nervous system, and promote long-term wellness. So with further training with mind-body practices, my aim is basically to help people reconnect with their physical, emotional, and neurological health, and just aiming to come focus heart-centered care and providing a way for people to live with greater alignment, presence, and vitality. So that's me in a nutshell. Let me pose a question. So what if your body possesses all the resources it needs to heal itself? Not through a pill, not via a supplement, not even relying on a doctor's expertise. Instead, it's an inherent capability that's always present, and it's awaiting to be unleashed. This is not a new concept. It basically dates back to centuries. And however, in 1895, this laid the groundwork for a revolutionary approach to health, which is chiropractic care. Okay. So the essence of it, this is B.J. Palmer. It's a quote by B.J. Palmer. He is the son of Didi, who is the founder of chiropractic. And this quote is so good because it talks about like the beauty of chiropractic is the fact that it works with natural means. It puts nothing new into the body, nor does it take away any natural gland or organ. Chiropractic simply releases life forces within the body, sets rivulets of energy over the nerves, and lets nature do its work in a normal manner. So it's a very simple, natural approach, and as we move forward, just keep this idea in mind. Our bodies are remarkable, and sometimes the key to healing is simply unlocking what is already within us. And today's talk will basically be covering the history of chiropractic and its origins, the remarkable function of your nervous system, the impact of chiropractic on both brain and body, and the research and narratives that support it, and most importantly, what this means for you. So we're gonna take it back to September 1895. So that's the actual birthday of chiropractic. This was in Davenport, Iowa in the States, and there was a man who was named D.D. Palmer. He gave a spinal adjustment to a janitor named Harvey Levitt, who had been deaf for 17 years. So after that adjustment, Harvey's hearing reportedly returned. Now, that one adjustment didn't just spark a profession, it sparked a whole revolution. The thought of what if the spine and the nervous system control more than what we thought? What if health isn't just about treating disease, but restoring function? And so today, chiropractic is basically practiced in over 100 countries with thousands of doctors serving millions of people, from newborns to the elderly, to athletes, to office workers. And why do we do what we do? Because we know that the central message of chiropractic is timeless. It's the fact that your body is self-healing, it is self-regulating, and it is amazingly designed. We're gonna just dive into some of the misconceptions about chiropractic care. While a lot of people do seek chiropractic care for their back issues and pain relief, it's important to highlight that chiropractic is actually so much more than just managing pain. It is a holistic approach that focuses on your nervous system, which is basically your brain and your spinal cord, and that is central to our overall well-being. In chiropractors, we work to ensure that your nervous system functions optimally, which can positively impact various aspects of health beyond just back pain, like I mentioned. So we're thinking about how interconnected your body is, and when your nervous system communicates effectively, it supports everything from digestion to immune system. So when we look at that, it's not only just your neck and your back, because your nerves basically go into every other part of your muscles, your tissues, your organs, yeah? And that really contributes significantly to a healthier life. Adjustments are painful, that's a myth. While some of them can be a little bit uncomfortable because your body has been in that state of stress and tension for so long, putting in a force into an area that's already inflamed could cause a little bit more of soreness or stiffness. But most patients, even though they experience mild discomfort during the first few adjustments, because we're putting the body in a new position right now, what we're doing is that we're actually helping to release that pressure. So some of the people do report saying that the sensation during an adjustment is a momentary pressure followed by a sense of release and increased mobility. If adjustments do hurt, I would recommend just speaking to your chiropractor and getting a bit more understanding of like why that is so. Okay, and you must continue care indefinitely. Well, it is a lifestyle. It is a whole idea of like your body has to be able to deal with the stresses that life gives us, and the stresses that come at us is not going to go away. So we have to just keep up with that. However, whoever comes into our practice knows that all our treatment plans are personalized and it's not mandatory. It's like we give you all the information you need so that you can make an informed decision. And then I've got a few questions before about chiropractic being unsafe. In reality, chiropractic adjustments are actually widely recognized as one of the safest, drug-free, non-invasive therapies available for treatment of neuromuscular skeletal complaints. So the risk of injury is actually really, really low in comparison to other treatments like surgery or medications, but they do give you a whole list of side effects that come with it. And chiropractic care is basically practiced by professionals. We have all undergone extensive training to master the techniques necessary for safe, effective treatment. And this is why we do our due diligence in practice. So we conduct a very thorough evaluation. We include detailed history, physical examination. We check x-rays before performing adjustments. And these assessments help to identify any contraindications to care and allow us to tailor the treatment plan to everybody's unique needs. It lacks scientific support. That's a myth. There's so many research papers out there, and one of the big foundations that a lot of chiropractors rely on as well, it's the Heidi Havik Foundation Center. So if you have been into our practice, you've seen some of the videos that we have playing, and those are the videos that's created by the Havik Foundation. But there's so many scientific groups and foundations out there that's actually doing the work to bring all this research to us. Chiropractic care is only for adults. No, the best time to get treated or to get your first adjustment is actually from birth, because the birth process itself is also so stressful. There's so much force and pressure coming on that little neck as you're coming down the birth canal. You can imagine how that would impact like how your brain sits in your skull, how the body shifts and moves and adapts. So all the way from newborns to elderly, chiropractic is safe and it's for everyone. And another myth is that it's very costly. In Singapore, maybe in comparison, but generally chiropractic care is very affordable, and it also is covered by insurance most of the time. So that's where even if there's any financial concerns, it shouldn't be something that should be interfering or creating a barrier for you to actually get holistic natural care. So again, these are things that you can also bring up to your chiropractor. Okay, we're gonna go into the nervous system. So that's your master control center. Every time you hear us chiropractors talk about the nervous system, we're always talking about how your brain and your body are talking to each other. So your brain and your spinal cord, it controls every single function in your body. Your heart beats, your nervous system is driving it. Your food digestion, your nervous system is driving it. Your cut that heals on its own, that's your nervous system cooperating with your immune system and your repair systems. So the nervous system is the wiring of your life. If the wiring is off, communication breaks down, therefore health breaks down too. That's why every function in your body depends on very clear communication. Imagine if your body is it's a radio station, yeah, or a tower that's sending out different signals. You can tune into all the different channels, but if the connection is fuzzy, the information that you're going to get through those channels is not going to be as clear as it should be. So that's the same thing. Every single function, from digesting your lunch to pumping blood through your veins, it all relies on this uninterrupted flow of messages between brain and body. And when this communication is smooth, then that's when our bodies can thrive and we can feel at our best. But what happens when there is an interference? That's what we're going into next. Our favorite word, yay! We talk about subluxations all the time, yeah? So in chiropractic, when we talk about subluxation, that's the hidden interference. That's when your your spine is not moving as well as it should. There's inflammation that's built up. It's creating an interference between your brain and your body because the nerves are not getting the full information. The contemporary definition of subluxation right now is that it is a loss of normal position or motion of the vertebral segments which irritate or impair nerve function. So that results in the malfunction of the tissues and organs throughout the body. The word subluxation actually comes from a 17th century Latin word or words. So sub, it means under or below. Lux, which is a unit of illumination or light. Ation is a process or a state. So therefore, subluxation is below a state of light. So the real issue isn't the bone. If we look at the medical term of subluxation, which means partial dislocation or a bone in a joint that's been out of place or a sprain, what we're looking at is the vitalistic approach to it. So that's what misalignments in the spine does to the nerves nearby. It distorts that messages, it creates stress, it keeps your body in a state of imbalance or learned subluxation patterns. And when we talk about light, it can be seen in different ways. So to some, light equals knowledge, and the result of using intelligence is to gain light, more knowledge. We know that everybody is born with an innate intelligence. That's what's within us, and this intelligence is expressed through the nervous system. So we also know that a misaligned spine causes interference to the nervous system and hampers the expression of innate intelligence. Therefore, subluxation reduces the expression of light, of intelligence. Light can also be seen in another way, interestingly. So there's this group of scientists, they're an institute of physics, I think, in Moscow. They discovered that cells emit and absorb very small amounts of light, biophotons. And it has been speculated that this light is a newly discovered form of cellular communication. So literally, we are made of light. And at the end of the day, subluxations do not cause the symptoms. They are a result of everything else that we've been doing and holding in our life, all these little stresses that creates that compensation. And over time, when enough cell damages accumulates, that's when we get to experience all those symptoms. Yeah, so a damaged cell will not emit or absorb light as well as a healthy cell. And therefore, subluxation would cause a state of your body that's below a state of light. If you we're gonna break down what happens during an adjustment. Okay, so this is what us chiropractors do. We don't treat symptoms, we don't poke bones. It's a byproduct of what we're actually doing. So the main thing that we're doing is to deliver very precise adjustments to help restore movement and reduce interference in the nervous system. So again, brain-body communication. Adjustments are very precise procedures in which we use our hands or a small instrument which you would have seen around in the practice. It makes this clicking sound. That's an activator. So it actually sends specific signals into the body or specific force into the body. And it's very quick inputs into the spinal segments or the joints. And the goal of the function is to improve that spinal movement and overall function of the body. So when this happens, again, the brain and the body starts communicating clearly, and that's when your brain can go like, oh, this is where I need to heal, this is what I need to do. So it will increase the optimal function and healing. BJ Palmer, that's a quote from him again. Every organ in your body is connected to the one under your head. This is why our brains are so important. So modern research is actually showing what chiropractors have been saying for decades. Adjustments don't just change your spine, they change your brain. So again, the studies by the Harvard Research and the Australian Spinal Research Centers, amongst all the other ones across the globe, they're now looking at delivering more research to support all this, to say that, hey, spinal adjustments actually increase activity in the prefrontal cortex. So that's the part of your brain that handles all the focus, emotional control, decision making, everything. And it's also the part of the brain that fully develops when you're 25. So all the big decisions that you're making through life come a bit later. Well, when we work with the brain and the body, we're always hitting when we adjust, it's like hitting the reset body on disconnection. Yeah. So this is what we know. Adjustments improve the prefrontal cortex function, so brain function. It improves your focus, your decision making, your emotional regulation. And Heidi Harvig, the one I mentioned at some of our videos, we actually take it from that foundation. Their current line of research actually explores how the central neural effects of chiropractic care and how it actually impacts human function and quality of life. So we're going way beyond pain. This is going into like changing the neurology and the neuroplasticity of how your brain sees the world, how it reacts to everything, and then how it translates that information so that your body can function as it should. So this means that chiropractic care contributes to that mental clarity and emotional balance. It's so fascinating to see how interconnected our physical health, our mental health is all connected together. And as we move forward into the next slides, I'll explain how the adjustments also impact the autonomic nervous system and how it helps the body to shift from your state of fight, flight and into rest and digest. But in the meantime, this is the key takeaway. So while other professions are concerned about changing the environment to suit the weakened body, chiropractic is concerned with strengthening the body, so just us, so that we can deal with our environments better. So this is just helping us to thrive and adapt in all the natural environments and situations that can come up in life. So as we think about it, this is considering how the approach would shift the perceptions on health and wellness. So we are looking more towards a salutogenesis model rather than like going into the model of like disease and yeah, what health actually means. So the ANS, the autonomic nervous system, basically you have your sympathetic mode, which is fight flight. This is the one that mobilizes you all the time for action in times of stress. Fight flight's good when it's a short period of stress to boost you out of a dangerous situation. But when we are in fight flight for way too long, that actually locks our bodies and our systems down. So everything will stop moving as it should. Your digestion is going to pause because you're going to be thinking of, I need to run, so I'm not going to digest. heart rate's going to go up, your muscles are going to be tense, it's going to be ready for action. And if you can't relax from that, what is this going to lead to down the road? It's just something to think about. And our parasympathetic nervous system is basically our rest, digest, our heal. It restores, it repairs, and it recharges our system. So in a very healthy, responsive body, these systems are in dynamic balance. So you will shift between fight, flight, rest, and digest. So there's a time and place for everything. But in today's world, because of our chronic stress, our screen time, our poor posture, lack of movement, emotional overload, most people become stuck in sympathetic dominance. So that means that our bodies are constantly running on adrenaline, even while we are sitting still. So chiropractic adjustments help the body shift gears. So it shifts you out of survival mode and back into healing. And the spine is not just a structural system, right? It's a neurological highway. So there's misalignments in the spine that we call subluxations. It creates all those tension and interference in the nervous system. And the irritation that goes on keeps the brain in that heightened mode and state of alert. So it reinforces your fight-flight response. And the misalignments in the nervous system don't just affect bones and joints, they ripple throughout your body. So that's when your stress shows up in your body as muscular tension, bracing, or just disconnection. And you might unconsciously tighten your jaw, hunch your shoulders, shallow your breath. Over time, this creates an ingrained movement and tension pattern that reinforces dysfunction. Then the other thing to think about is also our fascia. So the fascia is like this cling wrap material that wraps around everything, our muscles, our organs, everything. It connects your big toe to your tongue, if you were to put it that way. And basically the fascia, it responds to physical and emotional stress by becoming tight, sticky, or dehydrated, and that can limit your movement, circulation, and even your nerve signaling. So with chiropractic, it's so much more than back pain. It's really restoring that neurological balance. It unwinds all these deep tension patterns and it unlocks your body's natural healing abilities. And when we adjust the spine, we influence that nervous system. So this affects your muscles, your fascia, and the emotional tone of the entire body. So with the fascia, even if like say with the liver, it holds anger, irritation, frustration. With the spleen, it's like anxiety, fears. When we go through those emotions, we hold. And when we hold, this is a learned pattern. So that's where the adjustments help to reset everything and teaches the brain to be functioning in a different capacity. So that's why like when the spine is free, the nervous system flows, the body remembers how to heal. For people who are interested in heart rate variability studies and things like this, it's so important. It's so interesting because that is a very well validated, non-invasive way to measure your autonomic nervous system. So HRV is basically looking at the change in time between each heartbeat. So a healthy heart rhythm reflects a very responsible, adaptable nervous system. So the higher your HRV, the more balance between fight, flight, rest, and digest activities will happen. The lower your HRV, the more you experience chronic stress, poor recovery, and often a nervous system that's always tense, is always in high alert. So a lot of athletes, biohackers, health researchers, they monitor HRV because it shows us how well our body is recovering and handling stress, not just physically but neurologically. And chiropractic is highly tied in with like HRV studies as well. So just bringing this to your attention because the adjustments help to downshift your nervous system out of fight-flight mode and back into a state where the body can recover, repair, and regulate itself more effectively. This is one of the favorite things that we always have in chiropractic. The power that made the body heals the body. Our bodies are naturally geared towards healing. Instead of only focusing on external interventions, we also honor the body's innate or intrinsic ability to restore the balance when there's all this interference that's been removed. So the moment interference is gone, the body goes like, oh, this makes sense. Now I can move well again, or I can do this well again. So this is not just theory that we're discussing, this is things that's coming up through more and more research nowadays. And as we move into the real stories of healing, that I will share some of the experiences I've had so far. We'll just keep in mind the powerful potential that all of us have. And this is just a reminder, right? So you are not broken. You are not missing something. You are wired to heal from the inside out. Yeah, the body is not a machine that needs fixing. It is a living intelligence system that just needs clarity and connection. So that's why, like, you have a cut, it will just get, you don't have to think about it for it to heal. And this is your intelligence that's at work. Okay, bit of a story time. So last year I had the privilege of working with so many different people back in Australia, and one of the clients that came in, he was really desperate. We'll call him John. So he was in his late 40s, and his life basically wasn't going the way that he wanted it to be. So he was actually diagnosed with Coller-Icana syndrome, and that's the rare but very serious condition that affects the nerves at the lower end of the spinal cord. So that leads to severe pain, muscle weakness, difficulty walking. It creates bladder bowel changes, so loss of like control in those regions, and then also sexual dysfunction. So when he first came to the clinic, he told me that he had to stop walking every 3-4 minutes. Like, he can't continue walking, he just loses all sensation and ability to move. And then he has to wait for a while and then continue. So he tried several treatments, including medications, physical therapy, but the progress was, he wasn't really seeing much changes. So then when a friend recommended chiropractic care, he was like, well, what do I have to do? So then he came in. So gave him a few sessions and explained to him exactly like where his posture was compromised, did neurological tests, etc. Obviously his sciatic nerve was very affected, and his whole lower spine was out of alignment. So all of that didn't help with that mobility and the ability for him to move and heal. And we started with gentle adjustments, focusing on his lumbar spine and his sacrum, so that's where you sit. And every time we slowly work on improving his range of motion, we enhance his nerve function, and we reduce inflammation, eventually targeting the areas that's all around his movement, his hips, his joints, everything else. After a couple of weeks, John actually started noticing small improvements. So one of the first signs that came in was that he could start walking now for like 10-15 minutes without having to stop as often. Doesn't seem like much, but for someone who can't even move a few steps with having to stop, this was a big difference. And then over a few months, his walking improved, endurance improved, and then he basically was able to go back to doing different things. Like, he managed to get up and down from his chair easily. He is able to get back to gardening, and also he was able to start to have control over his bladder. So he hasn't been able to experience normal function for months, and now because of that loss of control, that has caused all these issues, and it's so emotionally distressing for him because he's just like, I can't function. But eventually, as his spine realigned and his nerve function improved, all of these areas of incompetence that he's been experiencing, it just gradually went away. So his story is basically a reminder of how powerful the body's natural healing ability can be when supported with the right care. And obviously, chiropractic is not a cure-all, but it does play a crucial role in helping people find a path to recovery that sometimes conventional treatments can't offer. And there's a few other experiences, like there's a 4-month-old baby who came in with constant like ear infections and not able to sleep, but after the first adjustment was actually able to sleep throughout the night. A lady, I think she was in her 30s, she came in with chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia. That's where you have all the pain all over your body that you can't describe as well. And she eventually also regained her energy and her focus, and was able to live a more normal life. And then also there was a guy in his 20s who came in with anxiety, bad social anxiety. It felt like it was so difficult to go to work and it wasn't getting any better. But then when he started coming in for care regularly, for the first time in years, he started feeling more calm and he could actually be out and about with his friends again. So it's amazing how so many people's lives change and all these stories come in day to day. We hear about all these changes all the time. So amazing. Okay. And when we look at chiropractic, earlier I was talking about the myths and debunking it, right? So it's not just for adults, it's obviously through the lifespan. When kids are also under stress at work, or kids under stress at school and all these different things that they have to do, their nervous system go into this like fight, flight. So they go back into that defense because they're just like, I just have to keep working through it. And if this is what we start learning as we were younger, how is this going to impact us in our teenage and our adult lives too? So children do come in for care. Teenagers come in with neck, anxiety as well, because all that builds up. Adults are overwhelmed by life and deadlines, etc. Pains that come along with aging. I wouldn't say aging causes it, but definitely it does impact how your body moves and heals. And then seniors as well who want to stay mobile and clear-headed and still have that feeling of independence, like, hey, I can still do things on my own, I can move. So chiropractic definitely supports health at every age. And when we talk about, it's not about treating the conditions, we don't just chase after the symptoms, it's always addressing the root cause of the problems, right? And that's usually always to do with your nervous system function and interference. So that's what's important. And here, there's another quote by D.D. Palmer. So D.D. Palmer, again, is the founder of chiropractic. He says that there is a vast difference between treating the effects and adjusting the cause. So put it this way, imagine your house, or your body is a house. And when there is pain or dysfunction, it's like there's a fire going in the kitchen. So when you treat the effects or the symptoms, you're basically turning off the fire, the alarm, and like airing out the smoke. But the fire is still going. And when we go to the root cause of it, that's when we have to turn off the stove, because that's what's leading to that fire that's going on. So then when we address the root cause, that works to remove the underlying cause of the problem, whether it's spinal misalignment, nerve pressure, muscle dysfunction. The issue has to be resolved at the source, not just masked. So by addressing that, chiropractic does help the body heal naturally and then prevent the problems from continuing to flare up and getting worse. And why all this matters now more than ever? If you have not noticed, our world today, it's so noisy. It's so fast, it's stressful. We are doing things that we didn't do in the past. Like, we used to be hunters and gatherers. We used to be moving around all the time. Now, we sit too long. We sleep too little. We are messing up our circadian rhythms. We scroll too much on our phones. And the result is that our nervous system gets so overwhelmed and underconnected. We're not connecting to nature. We're not connecting to ourselves. We're not connecting to each other. So all this regulation that we usually have is gone. Therefore, to me, chiropractic is not a luxury. It's basically a lifeline in a world that's so disconnected now. And this is why it's so important now more than ever. It's always been important, but just keeping up with everything else that's happening around us, it will take a toll on the body. Yeah, so 130 years ago, come the 18th, so we have another week to go. When D.D. Palmer delivered that first adjustment, today millions of people continue that legacy by choosing natural, neurologically based care. And we're not just honoring the past today, we're basically building a future for being more empowered, more connected, and more self-healing. So then that's a question I'll pose back to you. When was the last time that you actually got your nervous system checked? Most people get their teeth checked, their eyes checked, but usually never their spine and their nerves. It's like never checking the Wi-Fi and wondering, hey, why does the connection keep dropping? The text on the right side is obviously not meant for you to read unless you can really zoom into the words, but it's basically a whole list. It's non-exhaustive, but it's all the benefits of what you get from getting your adjustments, getting your nervous system checked, from pain relief all the way to sleep improvement, digestive health, reducing stress, anxiety, improving your immune function, pregnancy support, newborn baby support, mood, emotional well-being, you name it, we probably can find like what can explain why that's happening. So if you haven't got adjusted, maybe it's time to come back in. If there's only one thing that you take away from today, let it be this. Remember that your body is not broken. Your body is incredible, it's amazing, it's brilliant. And sometimes all it needs is the interference to be removed. And that's when the healing can be, when the healing can begin again, and just reconnecting you to that ability to just be the best self that it can be. So you can live life. Life just means living in full expression. Life. Chiropractic is basically in everything. The principles, the concepts that I just talked about, it is all resonating so deeply with the natural world. It's very evident in everything around us, from the laws of the universe to the cycles of nature. And the concepts remind us that the universe or the world holds a very intrinsic, innate power to heal and enlighten itself. It's a very profound reflection of how chiropractic care basically taps into your body's innate ability as well to restore balance, and there is always interconnectedness of all things. So that's why when you come for our talks and things like this, there's so many topics that we delve into because it all ties in with chiropractic care. You can go into nutrition, where we talk about balanced diets that not only enhances our overall well-being but also sharpens mental clarity. It's your key components of your gut-brain axis, where your nervous system talks to your gut microbiome, your immune system, your hormone signaling. When we talk about exercise, it talks about like all the regular physical activity that does wonders for your mood and stress levels, all those endorphins that get released as well, and things that make you feel alive and energized. So mental health, like your practices that can be very simple but also profoundly impactful in your daily lives, and the way we deal with stress that lives in the body psychologically and physiologically. So it's ways to just integrate everything. So it's not just lifestyle choices. All of these are just integral parts of our journey towards holistic health, starting from what our bodies really have within us, which is a happy, functioning nervous system. So if there's any topics that you are interested in, anything at all, and you want us to cover it and go more in depth with it, just WhatsApp us or drop us a message and we'll get back to you on that. In the meantime, thank you for being part of this celebration and tribute to chiropractic of 130 years. 130 years of chiropractic means 130 years of people choosing to live by design and not by default. So let's keep that legacy going by honoring the wisdom within our bodies and the power that made them. Thank you once again for joining us, and if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out. See you!